Enchantress a lot. This is a hero that Tundra played yesterday, but it went a little unnoticed, or not unnoticed, just we didn't talk about it as much because there's a lot of other things to talk about. But both Whitemon and both Soxa became absolute turrets in the game. At some point, it went long enough. They were just sitting in the backline, just doing probably the most damage in most of the team fights. It can be a very scary hero once you get a lot of farm. It does similar things as Shadow Demon to the Wind Ranger. You can just purge off the Wind Run and just start right-clicking this Wind Ranger hero.
I mean, this toss is really good against Wind Ranger. You get to disable her during her Whirlwind. You get to kind of use Snowball to kind of block out some of the damage from Whirlwind. So overall, this is a very nice pick against Wind Ranger.
Yeah, and we talked about it. The way that people are countering Wind Ranger is to
survive, right?
Yeah, survive the Whirlwind plus BKB combo, and Crimson Guard has been the answer to that, which Centaur is a Crimson Guard hero, of course, on the other side. Let's see. Pipe of Insight, very solid game for that here against the Sand King. You always need a Pipe Buyer. I think Centaur will probably end up picking that up.
We've talked about this a lot. It's SD Centaur is probably one of the best pairings for your disruption. You can set up the stun in the lane if they are together.
I still feel like Weaver with a Bracer, so he doesn't die in one hit to the SD Centaur combo, it still looks pretty good. Like then you run Soxa on the Enchantress with the Sand King in the off lane. That's a solid lane. It's range melee pairing. And then you've got Tusk plus Weaver, range melee as well. Whitemon's most played hero is the Tusk.
Yeah, it could be good. I definitely don't think it's bad, especially versus Chen, another hero that doesn't have a lot of lockdown. I'm not sure if there's something better. I mean, the Luna doesn't look incredibly bad either. You do have the ability to kill the illusions with Shadow Demon with your W now, so it's a little bit of a different matchup.
The Chen creeps are pretty good at soaking up the Lucent Beams from the Luna ult, though, is the only
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, right? Like, in those early fights, Luna won't be great, but later on, just the glaives will just chew through all the creeps.
Sure,
so
yeah.
One way or another there. Curious to see what he is thinking about. He does like his Morphling as well, which is a hero that will inevitably outscale this game and has a pretty good lane matchup. Will he play for tempo in the Weaver, or does he want to secure more of like a late game hero into this game? And of course, there is always the Dragon Knight if he wants to go down that route. That's a hero that's been very popular for him. Lots of splash, cleave damage, doesn't care too much about the Shadow Demon illusions. Sure, the Wind Ranger is something that might be a little more difficult to answer, but I still think this is a hero that he is just very comfortable on and just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's definitely really, really good against the Chen. Like you said, I think the tempo is, he's somewhere in between the Morphling and the Weaver. He can kind of do well in the early, mid, and late. Late game probably not as strong as Morphling can, but the DK is like, it gives them everything, you know. Right now, if they need to defend towers early, the DK can show up, deal with some of the Chen creeps, and so he's going to have like a pretty decent lane into the center. I mean, you definitely want to go like the Revenant's Brooch, right? It's Wind Ranger against DK here.
Yeah, I think so.
As your third item after the Gleipnir BKB?
Yeah, probably, unless the game is going so well and DK is so far behind, the Gleipnir magic damage is enough. But we'll see. I like the Revenant's Brooch, like, no matter what. There's very little anybody can do to deal with it. I guess if they have like tight BKBs, you can go Daedalus instead. But Daedalus also works with the Revenant's Brooch, so.
Does it though? I thought they patched it where you can't crit anymore with it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they did.
So you can't actually, it makes it so you can't buy Daedalus anymore once you go that item, which is the only downside really. But it feels like in certain matchups it does not matter.
Okay, what is Thompson gonna play?
Yeah,
he's gonna.
Oh, let's guess what Thompson's gonna play. My favorite part of the draft.
Yeah, you guys have waited till the end to do it this time, so I'm very proud of you.
Well, yeah, it's the way the Tundra always baits us too, because I always leave Thompson's hero for last pick unless they get Sniper.
It's a blind hero, blind pick.
Yeah, it is. That's why they banned the Huskar. They don't want to get hard countered. I mean, let's see. What are the heroes the Huskar really hard counters? Because I don't feel like Huskar's a very good hero, unless you can like dumpster mid. What comes to mind is like Ember Spirit, Earth Spirit, these melee spirit type heroes.
Nature's Prophet?
Does Huskar counter nature?
No, I mean...
Oh, you're just...
He's ignoring
Huskar's
that.
banned, so we're moving on. Yeah, Gaimin thought they could pick the Nature's Prophet,
Queen
so
of
they
Pain,
banned it out.
do they need more damage from Queen of Pain?
I mean, they do need more damage. I think they need, not like, obviously Inch does a lot of damage, but that's late game. Sand King does a lot of damage as well, same with DK. But these heroes need time. They need something for that early game damage.
Yeah.
I was looking at like these Earth Spirits and stuff, but not sure if you want to go that route either.
Do you feel right now with the other 3 heroes showing for Tundra, they're not able to make this game go late enough for the Dragon Knight to really come online to have that impact? This is what the mid is going to have to be. You go for those pickoffs and you try and make sure they can't make movements on the side of Gaimin Gladiators.
Yeah, some sort of active hero.
I was thinking Rubik, but there's terrible spells to steal in this game, so probably not. I don't know. From his hero pool, it looks like Earth Spirit looks likely. Or something new for Thompson, because everything else is banned. Like the Puck and Nature's Prophet were the ones that made the most sense going into this last pick here.
Well,
they get removed.
Last time we said a hero was likely, we then decided that it was unlikely because it's Thompson. Does that mean we go back around and we say that it is going to be Earth Spirit?
I think you try not get in the minds of Thompson and you just say what's good.
Earth Spirit's very good here.
Okay.
I like Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, Batrider also. They're banning like the mid-melee owners.
What is it about Earth Spirit that you like?
Everything else is banned, like the Invoker, the Sniper, the Puck,
I'll
the
give you
Nature's
one.
Prophet.
He's a cheap hero. They don't have a lot of budget now.
Yeah.
They need something that
They spent all their budget.
Yeah, they did.
What do you reckon is the average budget a lineup can have here, Winter? You like to calculate the numbers a lot.
I mean, there's no specific number. You know,
Okay.
it's just based on my feel. You know, Sand King's going to be farming Ancients. DK wants to farm Ancients. DK wants to farm lane creeps. Sand King wants to farm lane creeps. So you kind of need a hero that is going to pick up the scraps, you know.
One item and he's able to do so much. That's what he needs.
All right, Sand King mid. We didn't really think they would do that because like, oh, they have Ramsey's hero, but Ramsey's like, I have another hero too that's still in the pool, and the Mars, so they're going to put the Sand King mid. This is kind of a better version of Earth Spirit, the Sand King, I want to say. They both do a lot of AoE damage, but we kind of thought that Ramses would be playing this offlane position, but he's not, so now you're in a position where you see the Sand King mid, and you probably want to punish it, and I feel like there's some decent options left if you want to pick their ranged heroes that can just click the Sand King, but I don't know if you can truly beat this hero in lane. I've thought before, like, yeah, you can beat it with some ranged heroes, but it seems like he always seems to get his farm.
Can you just go for something that's really good in game? Maybe a Timber can speed up the game. Like you play really fast, you're really good with against their heroes. They have
I don't know if you win the lane though, like, because if you just
I don't think you care about the lane. Just care about what's good for the game though.
For melee strength heroes that you're
Yeah.
playing as an Enchantress that you can't attack, but you do pure damage and kill her through her healing. I actually really like the Timber.
I'm not sold on it, but it on paper looks good. And they're going to go with the hero that just makes it so, okay, this actually makes sense against the Sand King. And this is one of the few heroes that probably can push him off. Because what happens is Sand King has to right-click the wave, get up close, and just do his caustic stuff. But Viper's not going to allow that. And on top of it, you're going to get your corrosive skin, which is going to keep proccing on the Sand King indefinitely because you can't really control it. But then the Sandstorm, they really want to crush this mid lane and make sure Thompson can't get active. It's pretty fast. I think this is definitely punishing for sure. It's on the same routes of the Timbersaw, where you're just going to like crush the lane, and you have that massive amount of magic damage to deal with these tanky cores.
Yeah, you have the break against the DK, which is always nice as well in the game. But for Tundra, I feel like they have like a double off-lane lineup to kind of slow the game down for this DK, and they are going to be really counting on that to work. They're going to have to also deal with the pressure from the Chen. I imagine the Chen is going to move to the mid lane very early with the SD. You want to just punish the Sand King, take his tower, and Tundra have to be ready for that.
I really like this last pick from Gaimin. It is basically the Timbersaw that we were asking for in terms of it's a melee strength owner, but it is better than the Timber because it will actually do very well against the Sand King lane for the reasons that you guys listed. And if they're making space for a DK to farm with these two offlaner type heroes, DK gets broken by Viper as well. So it also solves the win condition of Tundra. I think Gaimin found a very good last pick here with this Viper.
Well, look, luckily we're ending on a positive note for Gaimin Gladiators because we're heading on down to the stage with Slacks and their coach, CY.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello Copenhagen! I'm here with CY, your Danish heroes here today. The last out there, my friends, and we're gonna talk, oh my goodness, you dropped something before you went in the booth. Did you need this? Oh no, here, put it with your papers, my friend. You forgot that. Do you want to talk about that? Was that on purpose or?
No, that was my mistake. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be here after TI anymore. We'll see.
Okay, come on. Seriously, you gave him Sand King first pick. Is this okay? Are you prepared? Do you feel like your draft will handle this?
I think it's okay. Like, there's a lot of strong heroes right now. You got to prioritize a bit, and it's not like you cannot beat some heroes. You just got to play well and get some good stuff against it, and then you'll be fine.
Well, it's been an incredible journey for you so far. It's quite a scary team to be going up against. What are the confidence levels? Are you kind of happy that you're facing off against Tundra? Do you think that you know these guys very well? Because you have so much experience with this team.
I think we know them very well. I don't think we're afraid to play anyone. I think we are playing European teams all the time. So, but I'm happy, honestly. It's going to be fun.
Fantastic. All right. And guys, I got to let you give it up for your local representation. Just one word here to the fans. Anything to say before we get into this game, my friend? Have your moment.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. All right, well, let's get into that series. Let's check out that game, and let's start the action with our casters.
It's early in the morning here in Copenhagen, but I see a stadium filled all the way to the top with die-hard Dota fans. To kick off the last day of TI, Copenhagen, are you ready? Bullshit! It's been a long journey for us to be here in this arena. It's taken 13 years of internationals for TI to come back where it all started. 2 decades of this game's history leading to us being in this moment right here, right now. So I ask you again, Royal Arena, are you with me? That's what I'm talking about. Let's get this game started, and let's get the last day of the International going with Gaimin Gladiators versus Tundra.
Couldn't ask for a better setting, and you might not be able to ask for 2 better teams outside of that final boss awaiting the victor here in Team Liquid. Watching on as some of their nemesis for the year are going to duke it out in this lower bracket final. And all eyes are perhaps on this man here, the crowd favorite Topson, in a very difficult matchup, a melee hero versus the Quinn Viper. Let me tell you something, Austin. I'm a little familiar with Quinn, and I'm a little familiar with his hero pool. You give this man Viper, he just starts to foam at the mouth, because all of a sudden that lane just becomes completely in his control, and he is very experienced in lane domination, perhaps the best mid laner in the world in terms of mechanics, and this is a very one-sided affair. It is not a question of what can Topson do here, it is a question of how much Quinn takes advantage of the matchup. It's going to be a tough one. We saw what Malrine was trying to do yesterday with the Monkey versus the Viper, just roam around the map, look for some moves, dodge this lane as much as possible. Could be a similar story here. The one upside is at least you can build some stacks for the Sand King and go into that jungle with a bit more efficiency.
Now, you say you know Quinn, you got some history there, but I believe you also have some history with the man across from him in Topson, and I believe Quinn also knows Topson pretty damn well, as they've had a few matchups and a few TIs before. And you said that this man is just a force to be reckoned with on the main stage, at International specifically.
I mean, I can speak for it, but I think every player who's gone up against Topson and had their TI dream shattered will also speak for it. In some ways, this man is the Grim Reaper of this stage. He is the last opponent you want to face. I can tell you that from personal experience. It is going to be a very tough match for Gaimin, particularly since they fell down here, right? This is a team that's used to kind of, once they figure out the meta, they own the tournament from there. And this has been a big misstep for them against a foe they're very familiar with in Liquid. So I think Tundra have the momentum going into this match. They're feeling very confident off of a strong win yesterday, and
perhaps that fear and that momentum is exactly what Gaimin Gladiators are trying to address so early on, shutting down the mid lane, but it's the off lane that is in trouble, where Tundra find first blood on Tofu.
Really nice setup here from the Enchantress. Pure will get the last hit, exactly what you want, but it is not often you get that first blood on a safe lane Dragon Knight. Tundra supports striking first and striking early here.
And they managed to get a hard camp pull off of that as well, so that's going to pull that creep equilibrium all the way back to the tower. Tundra putting themselves in just the driver's seat in this safe lane, headed to success. Check out that other safe lane, perhaps Gaimin Gladiators, see if things are going a bit better there. It's the Durachio Wind Ranger up against the Ramses Mars. I mean, Ramses has been killing it with this hero so far.
I got it last, too.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he got in such a good position, right?
That's the Sand King bait. The flex potential coming through. We're already seeing Thompson go to that jungle. He was definitely suffering on that mid lane. Early Satyr creep on this bottom. Going to be a very nice creep. Burn out the mana from the 2 melees. Give you extra mana regen for the Wind Ranger with a very strong early nuke. This is going to be a tough lane for Ramses, but we've seen him get out of a lot of these. In fact, CS-wise, he's doing perfectly fine here.
Yeah, he's killing it. So many denies. 16-6. Dirachi only 13-1, so Ramsey's definitely getting the better of this engagement so far, despite the harassment. The harassment, though, does continue in the mid lane, where Thompson has to burrow strike away from Quinn just to try and stay alive. He is getting ruined right now. Almost a full level up on him is Quinn. But this is the way the matchup's supposed to go, right? And he's just going to have to look for recovery elsewhere.
Nice little Centaur rotation.
Okay.
Maybe deny a water room?
That's exactly what happens.
That is big. These are the little things you want to do to skew this matchup. And I was about to say, yeah, a lot of this lane is Sand King versus Viper. But what this game will come down to in terms of this mid lane potential is the support rotations. How much does each team utilize the advantage that Quinn's created here?
Oh, this is so cool. Look at Whitemon.
This is so valuable for Thompson.
Uses the enchant on the Centaur to get some good harassment. They're even going to try and go for the kill with the last second. Centaur stunned. No way! Sand King manages to get the kill on the Viper, all thanks to this beautiful support player. And Whitemon, who does die, probably microing that Centaur. Bit of focus on there. Does lose some of the focus on the safe lane. It gets caught for it.
I mean, that is still Omega worth it here. That is just insane micro play from Whitemon. Completely turning this mid lane against Quinn. Not a kill that should have happened and not one Quinn expected at all.
And now, if you're Gaimin Gladiators, you got to be kind of, oh, we picked a Viper against the Sand King to win the lane matchup.
And look at the CS.
Yeah.
3 behind, and he had that kill. And now even if the Sand King rotates around the map or goes jungle, the damage is done, right? You alleviated a lot of that early game pressure. Thompson, he's just going to linger up top, look for a quick support pickoff. The Ghost will add some extra slow.
Tofu.
Once more, the creeps.
He's done. He is done.
Dude, Whitemon is owning this early game. No way around it. He's already level 4. This is before the Wisdom Rune comes out. This is an Enchantress dream right now. And Viper is a very susceptible hero to the early roam, especially if you can combine both supports here for Tundra. There's a lot of potential on the map right now. You have a gate rotation available. You have a purge for the Wind Ranger and the Enchantress. Very interested to see what Whitemon can do from here because, I mean, this is every 5 player's dream. A start like this on a very capable roamer, a hero that can affect every lane in the early game. Take your pick right now.
Battle for the Lotus is here. Let's see who clicks it first. It is Ace this time around. A second Lotus is added to his inventory. I think the crazy thing is that this Sand King now doesn't have to really lane at all, right? I mean, he's so proficient at being able to jungle. He could just play to these neutrals. They're going to let Soxa take the experience on mid. Maybe he dies for it every once in a while, but he's going to get some levels, and his Sand King is free farming in the meanwhile. Has to snowball to dodge some of the damage here, but he will be pulled back into his doom as Gaimin Gladiators will punish the support left solo in mid. But the punish on the other side is Tundra going for Ace here. All those Lotuses, though, triple bracers, a hard kill to be able to get in. Thompson has overextended himself, and Quinn puts him in the dirt.
Triple bracer chainmail plus a healing Lotus. That is not an easy target to bring down. They just don't have the early damage. And that was a very important rotation mid for Gaimin here. You want to snowball the Viper. Quinn is still dominating the lane. He's still decently ahead. Those rotations just add that snowball effect and give a lot of experience toward this Chen as the Wisdom Rune.
Oh, the spear doesn't come out in time and it misses. So Tofu manages to nab away the Wisdom Rune, and he might even get the kill on Ramses. Lobs out that blood grenade. A poison trying to latch, doesn't find its mark, and Tofu will be unable to get that kill and perhaps is going to die here as Soxa is going to try and keep up with him. Tofu, is he going to go for the Ancient deny? Dodges the spear, goes back to the Ancient.
It's wasting
this
so
little
much
move,
time.
trying to break some ankles. He will get brought down by the God's Rebuke, but as you said, more and more time, more attention from Tundra forced to their side of the map.
And we have seen these 7-minute Wisdom Rune steals just win games. Like this is a huge swing in the experience department, especially for a support duo that was having a pretty good early game between this Enchantress Tusk. Now they're going to fall a bit behind in terms of those early levels. Level 5 for Celery already. The counterpart here in the Chen to the Enchantress. See if Celery can make some of these early rotations work. He likes to go into this top lane, kick the enemy carry out, pressure this tower. If he has the levels and the creeps to do it, he's in a decent position to make that kind of move right now. In fact, secures a power rune for Quinn. This is a deadly power rune at this point in the game.
Ooh, yeah.
This is a kill into a tower if you give him the opening. This amp damage is just going to rip through an objective.
There is kind of, though, that pressure to do something with that amp damage, right? Because you know the Sand King's just farming away this entire time. You've got to start taking objectives soon. And Dyrachyo, he's going to be in a bit of trouble here. Got him inside the arena. Ramses gets the pin as well, and they have the damage. Thanks to Whitemon, again, showing up at the right place at the right time, hits the enchant to get rid of the win run. Back to middle lane where Soxa continues to suffer. Obviously, there's not much he could do about a Viper kill. Does manage to get that kill and tries to hit that mid tower, tries to hit the Dragonite as well. Thompson was thinking about trying to TP to help out, but he realizes that is a no-go and has to stick up to this top lane, canceling his TP.
Really nice snag bottom for Tundra, but they're getting pulled across the map right now. Cancel TP on the Sand King. The towers are getting pressured. This mid tower is gone. That amp damage room plus a solo kill for Quinn. He strikes back.
Oh, Tofu spotted. Didn't hit the Burrow Strike. Will hit the epicenter. That's going to slow him down a little bit. And the shards will keep him in the AoE. Soxa makes sure that Thompson is able to deal the damage. Thompson, you can see, is playing defensively just for fear of more heroes coming to assault, but not the case.
It's also Stampede used for Gaimin, and these Stampedes are going to be really influential in the early game, either for the gap close to find your target, help the Viper out in the fight. That one did not save Dyrachyo bottom, but he will make the rotation anyway.
It's the win. Nice shackle shot. Still, though, Dyrachyo's going to be surrounded by heroes. Where's Ace to be able to help out here? The Whirlwind is doing a decent amount of damage. Can't quite finish him up. The power shot misses. Thompson slips right past that one. Soxa is now going to be the target of Gaimin Gladiators instead, but they're running through this sandstorm constantly. Still, though, Soxa slowed down by another blood grenade.
Oh,
managed to get his drinking buddies all the way to Thompson. Pulls himself out of danger.
I mean, Soxa God right there. Gets the kill, gets the bailout. Even the Viper rotates up here, but Quinn is too late to the party. They defend this tier 1 top, and meanwhile, another quick kill for Ramses on this Mars. He got it last in this draft, and he's already put it to work. 3-0 start for him, as Whitemon will help him deal some extra tower damage down here on the bottom lane. Pure cutting mid as well. His mid lane's been annoying for Quinn.
Where does he go? He just keeps on going into the neutrals to try and take some of that away, but
no, he has to kick out Thompson top. He has lingered way too long up here.
Snowball, oh, it's going to pull him straight to Quinn. This is a dangerous position. That's why Thompson's going to try and get over the Burrow Strike, and the Soxa Tuss follows him right away with the drinking buddies again. This duo is just too mobile for Gaimin Gladiators to get the hold on them.
They just don't have good lockdown answers early. It's another TP for this Viper. They do get Thompson out of this top lane, but their catapult dies. This tower push is going to be a bit slow. Very frustrating early game for Gaimin as you're looking at these net worths, and Tundra very happy with what has happened here. They got out of the laning phase versus this last pick Viper, versus lanes that were potentially difficult, and basically won, well, all 3 for their cores at this point. Thompson is not behind at all.
Soxa, he's going to be running into a ward, so there's no way out. No heroes to pull him out with the drinking buddies this time around. He goes to the creep wave, surrounded by 3. So he should finally pay the price. He's just going to do what damage he can, stall as much as humanly possible. But it does seem like this top lane is finally going to be forfeited by Tundra. They lose that hero, and they're going to lose the tower as well.
Pure taking advantage of this moment to clear through some of those ancient stacks. He is getting very far, and we've seen some crazy GPMs on this Dragon Knight. He's going to have another pretty free game here. Thompson catching up mid, and the tower being pressured by the Dark Soul Summoner. So Whitemon continuing to exert pressure on the map. They're fighting for the 12-minute power rune. It's a dangerous rune.
Got him inside the arena with the epicenter. He wins for the save. He tries to stop Tofu's disruption. Looks like they'll have him surrounded and killed. But what about Quinn? He picked up an Invis rune, comes out of that one to try and put some damage on Ramses. He regrets that decision, though. Trying to use the Stampede to get him out of here, but the chain stuns. Make sure that he's not going anywhere. Wait, the Centaur stun. It comes through. Stalls him up still. Snowball gets him too. Quinn can't finish him, though. No more damage left in the tank as Gaimin Gladiators pull all their heroes to help out their mid lane.
3 points in corrosive skin plus all the Chen heal, enough to keep Quinn alive as he mans up for the rune and is rewarded. Gaimin, this is a team that's going to bring everybody to these sorts of skirmishes. Tundra, I think they felt like they had the numbers advantage, but you never have the numbers advantage against this team in the first 20 minutes. And this is not a fight that Pure was close to coming to, so you're just outnumbered 5v4 in the end. And that's the power of Stampede in this early game. It's going to be able to recreate the gap for the Viper or get him onto the target you need.
Quinn trying to do the Ancients, runs out of resources to do this stack that is there. 7-9, Tundra. Very slight net worth lead, pretty much even game right now. Some 14-minute Wisdom Runes are going to be coming up soon. Right now, it seems like a battle of just the Sand King and Mars, who've been doing pretty well for Tundra in the moves that they've been making. But as you said, the moves that they're making, they're running into 5 of Gaimin Gladiators. Is this Gaimin Gladiators' typical strategy of just moving multiple heroes around the map in congruence? It is causing Tundra to bleed a bit.
The thing is, I think Tundra should be fine just playing the map in a way, right? They have the Sand King and the Dragon Knight, the 2 heroes that are going to farm the most during these downtimes. Like, Centaur's not going to match that. He wants to make moves with his Blink that was just finished for Ace. Duracio's a bit behind in this game. No real huge stacks for him to catch up on. So Gaiming are the ones who are kind of pressured to find the pickoffs here. They're going to try and land this smoke on Ramses, but he did sniff it out, but not fast enough.
Yeah, they smoked underneath the ward, but Ramses still gets caught in the corner of the map. As smart play by Gaimin Gladiators. They used the Blink and the Stampede to get instant damage on Ramses. Make sure he wasn't able to use quick fingers to get out of that.
The thing is, this is a smoke that it's not yielding you a lot of map control right now. And if you look at where Tundra are on the map, Whitemon continuing to cut this mid wave with this troll. He's getting tier 1 tower pressure. The DK's clearing through both Ancients, and the Sand King's vacuuming up the bottom half of this map right now. You really need to convert these moves into more map control if you're game and get deep wards out. Swing to the other side of the map. Right now it's Duraccio clearing out the junk. Not really what he wants to be doing. Tundra are getting a lot right now. And it's just going to be a fast BKB for the Dragon Knight Pure, so he might opt to try and fight earlier in this game and deal with the death ball Gaiming are proposing. Gearing up for the early Roshans.
Bit by bit, they will take this tower, or somebody will. Duraccio will deny it instead. Getting a little gold for himself and take it away from Tundra.
Gaiming still lingering up top. I mean, this is where their vision is. So ideally, they want to keep killing up here.
Oh, Ace is there on the other side. Thought that Viper Strike wasn't going to be enough, and it wasn't. Ace really helps out getting that kill. 700 gold for them off of that pickoff. And perhaps a little damage on this tier 2 is not much of Tundra. He's going to deal with this. Ramses, he's playing deep on the other side of the map. Going to be cutting waves and everything. It seems like Tundra are trying to avoid fights right now.
Yep.
Do you feel like they are good to scale late game? Because we have seen this matchup a couple times in this tournament, specifically with Liquid, right? The Wind Ranger versus the Dragon Knight, and we've seen this item build that makes the matchup very different. The Revenant's Brooch, they would pick up like 3rd item. Do you think that changes the matchup of Wind Ranger versus Dragon Knight enough that it goes to favor Gaimin Gladiators?
I think it changes it a decent degree. I mean, in theory, Tundra have an okay lineup versus the Wind Ranger, right? You have Tusk and Ench, who are both solid supports at dealing with her. You have a Dragon Knight who is, in theory, a good core-on-core matchup. The Mars can do a lot versus Hero as well. If you survive the Whirlwind here, I think you win the fight as Tundra, because a lot of the damage just disappears, and your cores are going to win that long duration. But this Wind Ranger is not really a normal carry. You know, let's be honest. This hero has a spell that just procs everything on every hit. It's been rare that you have that type of mechanic in Dota 2, and the only other one I really can think of long-term is the Medusa talent, which was not really built into the hero early on.
Yeah.
It just does so much damage that I think you could always win late game with Wind Ranger in 5 or 6 slots, as long as you get a good opening into the fight. So Tundra really need to be careful about how they take the initiations and who they go on. Particularly this Viper, right? Like, are you bold enough to jump the Viper first in this game with the amount of backup he has in a Disruption, in a Chen heal, in a Stampede, and then give a good opening to Duraccio to come into that fight after you commit onto the Viper? That, I think, could be the most dangerous way to take the fight if you are Tundra.
Yeah, that's a good point. It seems like Gaimin Gladiators are going to be presenting kind of this wall. You don't want to go on the Viper, you don't want to go on the Centaur. You got to get to the back line. Tundra do have the heroes to jump past those tanky heroes with a Mars, with a Sand King. Both are going to be getting Blink Dagger, and even the Dragon Knight, I assume, at some point is probably going to be rocking a bit of mobility. So just a question of whether or not they can get around these big tanky frontliners and into the back line, catch that Shadow Demon like they did in the top river, go for that Chen and stop that heal that comes out.
Gaimin, though, they found a decent amount in this period, particularly for Celery. This Chen is starting to gear up. You're going to have some nice aura timing between the Chen and the Centaur, which is what Gaimin are looking for here, as he will match the Dark Soul Trumpeter pressure on the map. Tundra making a smoke of their own, looking triangle. Only Tofu here.
See some stacks that are happening. They know where the support is going off of those neutrals running that direction. And they'll get Tofu in the process. The arena make sure that there is no escape with the Dragon Form. They can maybe take some of these neutrals as well. Not a huge stack, just a double, but still worth to take away from Gaimin Gladiators.
There's still a Wisdom Rune sitting here too, but it did not get scouted. Tundra do not know it's there. Interesting smoke play, not really for any specific timing. They just wanted to get Pure involved in the game and felt like maybe there was a large Ancient stack they could steal off that smoke kill.
Sure.
A little economic damage. This is a bigger prize, though. They find Ace deep on their side of the map.
Trying to stampede away. The snowball pursues. He managed to get the blink out. Striking buddies.
No punch.
Gets pulled close, but the punch doesn't come out. He stands there for a second, goes up. That's that one up.
I'm not sure if he got body blocked by the creep. It looked really weird. Nonetheless, that is a lucky escape for Ace. Barely gets out of there, and he's found a lot of farm in this period, looking towards a pipe of his own. These aura timings are really important for Gaimin. They need to be able to get a lot out of them when they arrive. Can't bleed heroes around the map right now, as Tundra are hitting some strong teamfight items between the Bloodstone on the Sand King and the BKB. We'll see he does get a right click off.
He gets a hit in. He just didn't have the Walrus Punch activated.
Yep.
So then he has to wait for his next hit to come in, and it's all gone wrong for him.
It's a big miss. We usually do not see that kind of misplay from this man, particularly on one of his signature heroes. But maybe just not expecting he was going to get there in the first place.
Still dead even, not much action happening in the last 5 minutes when it comes to kills. There's been these movements, but not really finding purchase. Gaimin Gladiators and Tundra seem to be circling around each other, but it seems like this even game is favoring Tundra by a healthy amount at that.
Yeah, they're just going to farm more of the map during these downtimes. Like, Gaimin need to group up and get an advantage. They're continuing to bleed some supports. Tundra just pushed the lanes in, making the better moves right now. They have an Arcane Rune on tops, and that Bloodstone is done, and they're just working towards BKBs. They already have Pures. He hasn't had to use it yet, and they're going to get a Mars BKB. They're going to get a Sand King BKB second item. They're going to have a nice triple BKB timing by the time I think Gaimin's ready to group up with their Greaves Pipe potential. It's going to be a tough fight for them if they want to force the Roche. And I wonder, Tundra, do you just try and do it before Gaimin are ready to take that 5-on-5?
Knowing that Gaimin Gladiators, they've done this for years at this point in time, this aura buildup, what is Tundra doing exactly that is combating that timing?
They're not letting them group. They're continually pushing in all the waves. Especially Whitemon. He has lived on Gaimin's side of the map. He's cut mid-wave a lot. He's sending creeps to some of these random waves. He's farming out their jungle. It's been really annoying for how Gaimin wants to play the map. This is also one of the downsides of Viper. Like, Viper is strong in that ball, but he's not great when the map gets split up like this.
Yeah, and he's not particularly good at pushing in the waves really quickly, like some of these heroes on the side of Tundra.
He's just clunky. He's a clunky hero, and Tundra are abusing it right now.
Back and forth, you can see that heat map of just Whitemon constantly playing basically on the river, on their side of the map, all over the place, keeping Gaimin Gladiators, as you said, a bit split. They've got a 4-man crew right now, with Dyrachyo farming a different part of the map. They're gonna, on the other side, Tundra's gonna deal with their Tormentor, pick up the 21-minute Wisdom Rune. Very efficient stuff.
This is super efficient for Pure. Mask of Madness Armlet build. This is quite a throwback, but it's been incredibly good on this hero. He also got the Grove Bow. Been some nice neutral item pickups in this game. Vampire Fangs for Dyrachyo, I think, is also a good one here. Just free heal in the fight. Off the Whirlwind. His BKB is done, so he's also kind of ready to fight here.
Yeah, I think he's kind of impossible to kill with this combination of items at this timing right now.
And Gaimin are group at bottom. They want the Roshan around this time, but they are missing the Greaves from Celery. He's a bit short, and you're missing this pipe from Ace. It's kind of an awkward time to take that fight in terms of the items, but if you can get a good BKB Wind Ranger in there with a Whirlwind, of course, that fight is potentially winnable.
Potentially. But the Whirlwind is going to have to contend with the arena walls. So Ramsey's initiation.
D wants to find the backline. Ideally, Tundra ignore this Viper, find the supports. That is a great ward.
They drop the Chen. Yep, they see the Chen. They see where he's headed to. They probably know where the other support is as well. They're gonna wrap around, avoiding this high ground, making sure the smoke doesn't pop until he gets the arena on both the supports. A quick disruption maybe bails out the Chen for now, but Pure gets stunned up for a second. Now he starts going to work with the Wolves of supports grouped up. Still though, the heals are keeping him alive for a little bit. They manage to get off most of their auras in time. Will it be enough though? Tofu, he's gonna be the next one down. Another support though. Chen is gonna come back into play with a buyback. Gaimin Gladiators push through this one with Pure already going down. Next up is Thompson. Thompson hits the stinger. A spear goes through, landing onto the centaur. Thompson's getting bursted down. Too much damage from Gaimin Gladiators as Quinn, snowball, Wade, Soxa, got him with the punch. This time around, he will hit his mark. And Tundra will find that the best initiation they can get is still not enough to defeat Gaimin Gladiators right next to their outpost with buybacks ready to go.
Ramsey's
but maybe
still
they're
here.
going to go for a second part of this fight. Nope. They call it quits. They say that's good enough.
There were some crazy Centaur stomps in that fight. These Centaurs were just running around, stomping multiple heroes from both the Chen and the Enchantress. Dyrachyo ultimately gets to play his game here, though, and that's what wins out. That snowball from Soxa, he took everybody into it, and it looked great for the Sand King, but I think it wasted a bit of Pure's time in this fight. We'll see that clutch stun from Ace buys time for the supports to get a lot off here. Celery will be forced to buy back into this fight. And at some point, I think somebody fed Quinn, or he had a big Lotus for the second half of this exchange, because he gained a huge amount of HP as they were trying to burst him down towards the end of it. We'll see here, you go and try and finish off this Viper.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Chunks up. Big wand plus something else here, maybe just the effect of Chen. Either way, I mean, there's just so many Centaur stomps going off in this fight. It's ridiculous. There's another one at the end. These things have done work.
They certainly have, and it keeps the game close. Still, 6,000 net worth lead for Tundra. Gaimin Gladiators looking to correct that. A three-man smoke up through mid with two other heroes close by.
Oh, look at his BKB.
They got that out of him.
Not that invaluable here. You're still smoked on Ace, and you finished up that pipe for the Centaur. This is a huge timing for Gaimin. This is why they smoke. This is why they want the pick off. Anything would lead into the Roshan here.
Is a BKB being on cooldown enough for them to have the confidence to take that Roshan?
I think it is, but it's going to switch the side here, and I don't know if you're finishing it by the time you get here on the Radiant.
That's true. You've got 45 seconds. If you're going to do it, you have to do it right away.
If you get in there with everybody with this level 3 penitence, it's doable right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to do it. 35 seconds. Put it to the test here, but it's looking pretty good for them with every single hero of Gaimin Gladiators joining in on this. It doesn't seem like Tundra are too worried about it. They are super split all around the map, farming all different areas. They're going to get all the lanes pushed in. They're going to farm a bunch of neutrals, so they will get a lot of net worth for this exchange. It's up to Gaimin Gladiators to use this Aegis to correct the net worth lead that is currently going to Tundra.
I will say damage buffs have been nice in this meta, but I mean, who needs Solar Flare when you have your own personal summon Solar Flare?
That's true.
With 80 skeletons in the fight.
The Skelly boys giving Gaimin Gladiators just that extra bit of oomph, and they're going to need it.
Until Thompson clears them all and gets an extra 100 gold.
That's true.
See what Gaimin can do during this Aegis period. They have their Greaves, they have their Pipe, they have an Aegis on the Viper, who's their front line, who's showing top right now.
Oh, they're going to get it midway through. Ace has already gone through the gate. He's not coming back in time to save Tofu, at least, as Tofu's still inside the arena. Wait a minute, disruption with Soxa stuck on the other side of the shards. Tofu's actually making a break for it with the Stampede. He TP's out.
Okay.
All right.
I think Soxa's going to hold that punch for next time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a win run BKB Wind Ranger is the problem. It's a hard go, but they're still happy with what they got there. They got the BKB on the Wind Ranger. That's something that'll allow you to push here. You just can't convert on those kills. Meanwhile, Thompson trying to make a solo play.
Yeah, very interesting knowing that since the BKB's on cooldown, maybe he could get a solo kill. But either way, it's Tundra being aggressive into an Aegis, which is quite the call. Thompson, he's going to go for it with BKB Bloodstone. See if he can stay alive against all five, but there is way too much. Thompson, you have overestimated yourself, and now maybe you pulled Pure into a position he doesn't quite want to be. The rest of his team is cutting in from behind. Ramsey's made the call, though, to cut the wave. See if that will stop this tier 2 from going down. And it just might. No, they kept the catapult alive, so the push will endure.
They Greaves did keep it alive here. Still have this Aegis on the Viper. That means you want to go. You want to force the action. They're going to go high ground. They have a huge amount of rally boost from these summoners right now. Really helps the damage output.
No, the Solid Crest. Wait, the Alpha Wolf, they got the Siege Wagon. The wave has been cut. A glyph is going to be reactivated here. That stops Gaimin Gladiators' push. They can no longer barrel down mid. Even with this kind of net worth lead, Tundra still have to pull out all the stops to stop the Gaimin Gladiators snowball that has time and time again kicked teams out of tournaments.
Gaimin have found a lot of net worth during this period, particularly for Quinn. Like, this Viper is starting to scale. He got Enchanted Quiver as well. He's going to be a beast in the fight. We saw how much Thompson was doing on his own. He's not really doing a lot of damage into this lineup with the pipe plus the extra magic resist right now. And that's why Gaimin, they want to strike. They want to strike hard when they know their ball is stronger.
Boys are back in town. The Skelly boys just keep on growing, and they are going to hit a different part of the town here, the top lane instead. This time, the wave is not getting cut. So there's another one coming in. Tundra are going to have to go for a high ground defense. 2 minutes left on the Aegis.
Even has a small Hellbearer, which I actually kind of like, because you just send this thing in the fight and it dies to a bunch of the AoE damage.
Yeah.
You get a huge damage boost off the death throw. It's not a common ability, but I could see it being really good here for the Viper.
Yeah, 120 attack speed
for
5 seconds. That is no joke at all. Just give a moon shard to everybody.
Do Tundra want to jump Quinn? Still have a minute 30 on this Aegis. I mean, you can like lock him in a shards and man fight him with the DK, but it doesn't sound fun.
No.
They're just trying to stall this out. Put Thompson on the front line. Gaimin will jump him.
Thompson! No big, snowball save! That can let him get off the BKB Bloodstone, but they are going to be deep into Gaimin Gladiator side. Managed to get the blink away before the Stampede can connect there. And they'll get him back to safety. Gaimin Gladiators not being able to get that pick off. Now 60 seconds left on the Aegis.
Getting stalled out here.
Yep, time is ticking. Gaimin Gladiators' window is beginning to close.
Maybe they're happy with what they got during this period, but they did not break that base. That's a big win for Tundra. And now they're pushing towards some bigger items. That Hex for Ramses is on the horizon. They get caught a little bit. They find the Shadow Demon on the backside.
Yeah, they managed to get him, and they got him inside the arena. The Spear, though, it runs at the Centaur, so a self-disruption. But Tofu, wait, Quinn, he's taking a lot of damage. He's going to lose that Aegis. He had the Aegis still in the second life, while Duraccio starts going to work with the Whirlwind. Managed to get a Burrow Strike back. Thompson's going to be okay for now, but Pure, he's leading in. He's going to go for Celery, takes him out. BKB, TP up from Quinn, but what about Duraccio? Duraccio doesn't have that same luxury. He doesn't have a BKB. Tries to hide. Nowhere to hide, though, from Tundra.
Pure man's up, and he is rewarded. Just stands his ground in the middle of everything. Gaimin did not have the damage. Duraccio, he wanted to pick his mark in that fight, comes in with the BKB winner on Whirlwind, but it is not enough damage to finish anybody off. And the front line from Tundra holds Thompson. He finds Shadow Demon right at the start, sets up this 3-man arena, and everybody's just locked in the cage. Ace gets melted even through the auras and the sustain. Just a brutal amount of damage. This Whirlwind, it can win you the fight here, but it gets disjointed, and now all of a sudden all you have left is this BKB Dragon Knight on the front line, and it's not a hero Duraccio can man fight at that point. This is through the Viper Aegis as well. That, in theory, was a good fight for Gaimin in terms of that timing. Did not do him any favors here.
Thompson made the call. He made the blink initiation, catching Gaimin Gladiators a bit off kilter. And as a result, the team fight is messy, it's bloody, and it's bad for Gaimin. Now a 12,000 net worth lead for Tundra.
And I will say, Quinn, he barely got out of there as well. That punch from Soxo was mid-land. That was almost a full team wipe. They'll lick their wounds and claim a Tormentor here. But this game is starting to get messy for Gaimin. This is not how these types of lineups are supposed to function, right? You want a Rax or 2 by now. You want to be looking at the next Roshan with a net worth lead. Instead, you find yourself down a 10K hole versus a very strong Dragon Knight who's about to finish MKB at your shop.
Soxa wasting no time to make the initiation because Ramses is up behind him and he's got a completed Sight Device and a Spear to follow it up. Disable after disable. Gaimin Gladiators now have to use the Stampede to try and retreat, make sure nobody else dies, but Tofu, he'll bite the dust as well.
Tundra finding momentum in this game, finding everything right now. Every jump feels good, especially with MKB done on Pure. You find Duraccio, he's gonna melt. Swin Run cannot save you anymore. And all of a sudden, Gaimin are the ones being pushed back. that they missed their timing in this game. They have all the auras, but they're not winning you the team fight right now. Hex done for Ramses as well. I mean, the catch is there, the control is there, the BKBs are there. Even Whitemon has built up an entire pipe to back these tanky frontliners up. This is a lot of HP to get through all of a sudden. You have 4 strength heroes on the front line, all with 3,000 plus HP with a pipe behind them. Effectively, it's so much EHP to get through.
Yeah, normally it's something that we would say about Gaimin Gladiators lineup. Oh, look at all these auras, look at the pipe, look at the Greaves. It's too much for any team to be able to bite through, but Tundra hitting this later timing, 32 minutes, triple BKBs, triple strength heroes. Now it's Gaimin Gladiators, the ones who are running out of damage and struggling to deal with Tundra. As a result, they lose a lane of barracks. A second one gets damaged a bit, but Tundra not trying to take a team fight on Gaimin Gladiators. High ground will retreat and await the Roshan timing, which is coming up very soon.
They are not pressured right now. Feels like they are scaling way better. The next set of items coming up for Gaimin are, they feel all defensive too. Lincoln's for the Viper, Satanic for the Wind Ranger, Crimson for Ace. Not a lot of damage increase. You just finished the Shivas on the Sand King, the pipe for the Ench. This DK is going to get something built out of this Reaver. I worry about how you bring these heroes down right now. And it feels like a lot of the initiations have just been Ramses finding his mark.
Yep.
4-1-9 on this Mars. He's played a near perfect game.
And he's had a fantastic tournament on this hero. The switch up that Tundra did, right? Presenting the Sand King, as you said in the draft, and then swerving, so it's a mid Sand King. They get a different off laner. It has worked out beautifully. They managed to salvage out that mid lane thanks to Whitemon's moves early, and now Ramses is delivering on the off lane Mars.
These arenas, if you catch the supports +1, you're very happy with that, and you're probably winning the fight. He has found a lot of these times. Do finish up the Daedalus on Dyrachyo, different from last fight, so that's going to be his big damage item in this game. This Whirlwind really has to do some work. You got to find at least 1 or 2 big targets during this interval. And I mean, if Tundra really want to play this game safe, they could play for buybacks, but I mean, it's Tundra, so they're going to buy out here. Satanic for pure. 4k HP on this DK right now.
Yeah, who needs a second life when Satanic really is its own second life, right? I mean, it's not like he's going to get bursted down before he can activate it. He's got way too much effective HP.
And a snowball save behind him.
Yeah.
It really comes down to it. So Tundra very confident right now. They have a wave in Gaimin's base. They don't see anybody on it, so they know Gaimin are around this pit. There's a creep in the pit as well. They're not going to show on it.
Once again, Tundra are trying to set the tempo. They're the ones trying to start the fight with this smoke. They found a couple of heroes, not who they want. They don't want the Centaur, they don't want the Viper, they want the backline, but this time Ramses finds himself jumped on. Oh, stop! It stops the snowball save from Soxa and kills Ramses.
Thompson.
He's gonna fly back and try and come back in. Thompson! Oh, Thompson! A burrow strike from hell goes underground, and he just rips Gaimin Gladiators all the way down to the pit itself. A spear to finish him off, and that is a team wipe.
And it only cost you a Mars buyback off of what was probably the best stun Ace could ever find in this game. Preventing the save, finding the Tusk, and absolutely none of it made a damn difference. As Thompson says, just leave them to me, boys, and I will clean it up. Pure with the cleaves coming through, he is invincible. The clock in this game has run out for Gaimin. This push did not come to fruition, and Ramses, he's in cleanup mode.
Ramses perhaps trying a little bit too hard there, goes for something that they don't want to jump on. It's the Viper. They got plenty of buybacks out of Gaimin Gladiators.
They got all of them.
That's good enough. And now they can back up to do the original objective of Roshan.
I mean, who even takes this Aegis? You're getting slaughtered at this point. Your heroes feel invincible. Give it to Ramses. Reward him for the buyback. Gaimin's falling short in this game 1, especially in these team fights. They just don't have enough sustain to match what Tundra Valve.
Here comes that epicenter. Thompson, he pumped it a couple times to get the perfect timing.
The cleave coming through as well from the DK with a Nemesis curse. Just see you later.
What a jump from Thompson, and Pure is able to deliver the damage off of any kind of stuns, either Ramses or Thompson. Pure says, no, there's no chance. You got nothing, Gaimin Gladiators, and it really does look that way. With a 23,000 net worth lead and a lineup that was designed to take the base early, it does feel like Gaimin Gladiators may not have much more in the tank, much more left for them to be able to play for, but they are a world-class team, and they have been in these situations before. So Tundra do need to be careful when they encroach upon Gaimin Gladiators territory.
And they did give this Aegis to Pure, so at least there's some idea this Dragon Knight is in theory mortal. He wants the second life to siege the base.
I mean, if you're Gaimin Gladiators, is it possible for you to leave the Dragon Knight for last, or does he just do too much damage? That may not be a question that they are ever able to get to themselves with Dyrachyo gone in a second.
Does have buy. It's the one hero that had buyback for Gaimin right now.
They're all setting up with this high ground ward. They're going to say this is the only opportunity we have. We've got an amp damage onto the Viper. Maybe, just maybe, we can pull out a miracle. But Pure's behind them. Thompson hits the Burrow Strike. A disruption save. That's going to help. They have the buyback. A TPM coming in. Quinn activates his BKB. Throws the damage back out. And then Thompson, wait, the snowball save again. Coming in from the supports of Tundra. They're bailing out these heroes. And Dyrachyo not going to make it out. The Death Reaper comes in with a sharp scythe and a wicked intent. Thompson, he'll join them along in death, but he's done what he needed to do. He has killed Gaimin Gladiators, killed their chance at this game one, taken out their buybacks, taken out their diebacks, and they are out of this game one. No contest.
The crowd favorite puts on a show in this first game. From a very rough lane, getting bailed out from that Whitemon Enchantress to just dominating these team fights. This is not a hero you wanted to give this team, and not a hero you wanted to give that man right there, as Tundra put on a clinic in this game one.